everyone. Welcome to our educational program. This is English lesson grade 11. Last time, this is our third lesson, unit 6, lesson 3. Lesson 3 is concerning about our narrative tenses. Upon completion of this lesson, students will be able to identify and practice a narrative tenses and also write a narrative. So what do we mean by a narrative? Narrative tenses are tenses that are used to talk about past events or we use to tell stories. Narrative tenses are four tenses we often use for talking about the past events. The most common use of this is a simple past. The other three tenses are past continuous, past perfect simple, and also the past perfect continuous. Can help us to say what we want more about efficiently. So narrative tenses markaan leenahay narrative tenses waxa loo isticmaalaa marka laga sheekeynayo marka sheekooyinka marka laga sheekeynayo ama marka laga sheekeynayo oo laga la sharaxayo faltagay ayaa narrative tenses loo isticmaalaa. Sidoo kale sheekooyinka ayaa lagu tabiyaa narrative tenses. Narrative tenses waxay u kala baxaan afar qaybood ayay u kala baxaan marka narrative tenses leenahay afar qayb ayay u kala baxaan. Midka koowaad waa past simple, ka labaad waa past continuous, ka saddexaad waa past perfect, ka afraad sidoo kale waa past perfect continuous. Dhammaan waxay naga caawinayaan in aan tabino sheekada amaba markaasayta waxa aan tabinayna amaba mar ahaantaasay hadalka aan soo jeedinayna ayay naga caawiyaan in aan sida ku haboon in aan u tabino ayay naga caawiyaan. So when you write a story or bibliography or an account of what you did in a holidays, you are writing a narrative. A narrative is a description of events in the past. There are past verbs forms. I use it in a narratives. Narrative tenses marka aan leenahay narrative tenses sidoo kale waxay noqon kartaa sheeko, waxay noqon kartaa adigoo ka sheekeynaya taariikh nololeedka qof ayay noqon kartaa. Waxa afay iyo waxyaabihii aad soo qabatay adiga oo ka afal celinaya adiga oo markaas faahfaahin ka bixinaya ayaa sidoo kale narrative tenses aan dhihi karnaa. Narrative tenses are a verb tenses that are used to talk about past. They are often found in the stories and description and past events such as personal encodes. Example, the following are examples of narrative tenses. Past simple, we left on a rainy day. Past continuous, I was powdering down even at midday. Dhammaan tusaalooyinkan waxay ina tusayaan narrative tenses ayay ina tusayaan falalkan oo noo sheegayo we left on a rainy day macnaha xilligaas aan bixinay roob ayaa socday mar ahaantaas marxaladda taagneed ayay faahfaahin ka bixinayaan dhammaan tusaalooyinkanita. Past perfect marka aan leenahay past perfect, it had rained off and on for 10 days. Past perfect continuous, we had been waiting to escape for what seemed ages. In the classroom, activities used in practice narrative tenses include gabs, fills, dictations, or storytelling. xilliyada aan ku guda jirna cashirka barashada oo kaleeto fasalada dhexdeeda narrative tenseska waxa loo isticmaalaa in laga sheekeeyo ama dictationka oo yeeriska oo kaleeto ama marka la qorayo sheekooyinka oo kaleeto ayaanu isticmaalaa narrative tenseska. Sidoo kaleeto akhriska oo kaleeto waanu isticmaalaa jumbled text the same in rewriting events marxaladaha marka dib loo qolay oo kaleeto sidoo kaleeto waa loo isticmaalaa starting at the end. Exemplification, narrative tenses. Narrative tenses help us to talk about the past events. We use them to talk about the recent action, historical events, or bibliographical information. Narrative tenses sidoo kale waxaanu isticmaalaa marxaladda tagtay ama faltagay marka aan ka sheekeynayna ayaan isticmaalaa. marxaladda taagan sidoo kale recent actions marka aan macnaha maxay radaa falalka hadda taagan marka macnaha aan ka falcelinayna aan ka sheekeynayna sidoo kale waan isticmaalaa. Historical events macnaha taariikhaha markii sidoo kale taariikhaha laga sheekeynaya ama sidoo kale taariikh nololeedka qof marka laga sheekeynayo sidoo kale waxa la isticmaalaa narrative tenses waanu isticmaalaa. Simple past, is used to emphasize a single action in the past. I visited Somalia. Marka aan leenahay simple past sidoo kaleeto waxaa laga sheekeeyaa marka oo la tabinayo fal hal mar dhacay falkaas oo dhacay waqti laga soo tagay. Tusaale ahaan waxaan booqday Soomaaliya waa fal tagay waxay noqon kartaa bil hore waxay noqon kartaa sanad hore mar waliba simple pastiga waxa uu tabinayaa fal tagay oo soo dhamaaday balse falkaas oo dhacay xilli la soo dhaafay. Past continuous marka aan leenahay past continuous is to emphasize the action that was in progress when something happened. Past continuous sidoo kaleeto waxa uu sheegaa falkaas oo ah fal laga soo tagay xilli laga soo tagay dhacay when something happened in the progress taasoo ay dhaceen mar kaleeto oo mar kale oo haddana mar kale laga turjumayo oo kaleeto. Tusaale ahaan I was living in Japan when I met my wife. Falkanita I was living waxaan ku noolaa Japan when I met my wife markaan la kulmay xaaskayga. Mar ahaantaas wuxuu ka sheekeynayaa fal ka sii horeeyay wuxuu macnaha bixinayaa hal falkaas oo fal ka sii horeeyay ayuu tusaale ka bixinayaa. Waxaan ku noolaa Japan marka uu leeyahay waa fal tagay. When I meet my wife marka uu leeyahay haddana wuxuu sii qeexayaa falkaas falka ka sii horeeyay ayuu sharaxaad ka sii bixinayaa. Past continuous marka aan leenahay laba fal oo dhacay xilli la soo dhaafay balse falalkaas si kala horeeyay ayuu marxaladaas ayuu qeexitaan ka bixinayaa sidoo kaleeto. Past perfect marka aan leenahay is used to emphasize that the action already occurred at some time in the point in the distant past. The following sentence implies that the speaker is living in Japan now for a second time. I had lived in Japan before. Past perfect marka aan leenahay first waxay ka sheekeynaysaa in mar ahaantaasayta uu ka sheekeynayo qofka ficilka uu bixinaya in xaaladda uu ku sugan yahay ama meesha uu jooga in uu hadda ka hor joogay ama ficilka hadda uu sameeyay in uu hadda ka hor uu sameeyay oo kaleeto ayuu ka falcelinaya ama uu ka sawir bixinaya. Tusaale ahaan I had lived in Japan before. Japan hadda ka hor ayaan ku noolaa marka uu leeyahay waxay cadeynaysaa mar labaad markaasayta markii labaad inay tahay balse hadda ka hor sidoo kaleeto meeshaas uu ku noolaa. Past perfect continuous waa معناها تنزيج أفراد أو سيدو كالت لو استعمال narrative tenses. بل هذا أصلاً فيرنا محو. Past perfect continuous tense is used to emphasize a period of time during which an action was happening that ended when a second more recent action occurred. Past perfect continuous wuxuu naga caawinayaa sidoo kaleeto mar وفعل دعي فعل كاسو هذانا مال مر لبات هذانا سدوا كلات فعل كاسو مر لبات صور لابتي أي سدوا كلات تصور بحنايا أو كترجمة يا سدوا كلامت كنيته. I had been living in Japan for a few months before I got the job. Japan waxaan ku noolaa bila yar ka hor inta aan shaqada helin ka hor. Sidoo kaleeto waxa uu tilmaamayaa sidoo kaleeto laba ficil ayuu tilmaamayaa labadaas ficil oo dhacay xilli laga soo tagay haddana sidoo kaleeto si kala horeeyay. Notice, do not use the present perfect continuous. I have been living in Japan. This is not a narrative tenses. You should use adverbs or connectors to help convey your ideas. Use the following adverbs and useful connectors: still, until, when, before, firstly, after, soon, just. Phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are a part of a large group of verbs called a multi-word or verb. Phrasal verbs and other multi-word verbs are important part of English language. Multi-word verbs, including phrasal verbs, are very common, especially in spoken English. A multi-word verb is a verb like pick up, turn on, or get on with. For convenience, many people refer to all multi-word verbs as a phrasal verbs. These verbs consist of a basic verb plus another verb or words. The other words can be prosperous and or adverbs. The 2 or 3 words that make up multi-word verbs from a short phrase, which is why these verbs are often all called phrasal verbs. Preposition verbs are a group of multi-verbs made from a verb plus another verb and plus another word or words. Many people refer all a multi-word verbs as a phrasal verbs. On this page, we make a distinction between three types of multi-verb verbs: prepositional verb, phrasal verbs, and phrasal prepositional verbs. On this page, we look at the prepositional verbs. Phrasal verbs are phrases that indicate actions. They are generally used in spoken English and informal texts. Example of such verbs include turn down, come across, and turn into. Phrasal verbs consist of a verb and a preposition of adverb. A verb and also a prepositional adverb. Look at these examples. Get, it's a verb. Up, it's preposition. Go, through. Write, down. Take, after. Sometimes phrasal verbs consist of three elements even. Verb is prepositional, also prepositional adverb too. Look, forward, to. This is consist three parts. Put up with. The first one is a verb, up, prepositional verb one, prepositional adverb one, with prepositional adverb two. Sit, in, for. When added to a verb, the prepositional adverb may change completely the meaning of the verb. Hence are some examples. Phrasal verb, look for, meaning search or seek. Example, he's looking for his keys. Phrasal verb, look up to, meaning have a great deal of respect for a person even. Example, his father is his model. He is the person he look up to. Phrasal verb, look forward to, meaning await, eagerly, anticipate with pleasure. Example, she's looking forward to visiting Paris. Sometimes it's difficult to understand the meaning of phrasal verbs before looking them up in a dictionary. It would be helpful to use the context to understand them. Listen, literal meaning. Some phrasal verbs have a literal meaning. They can be easily understood. She opened the door and looked outside. She was walking across the street when she heard a sound of explosion. Idiomatic meaning. Phrasal verbs can also have a figurative or idiomatic meaning, which makes them difficult even to understand. Can you pick me up for tonight? Can you put me up for tonight? The phrasal verb put up here does not mean to build. As in putting a fence up, it has, however, an idiomatic figurative meaning. It means to let someone stay in your house. Separable or inseparable. Sometimes the prepositional adverb is placed either after the verb or after the object. Example, Mary made up a really entertaining story. Mary made the story up. If the object is a pronoun, however, the preposition adverb has to be placed after the pronoun object. Example, she made it up. Put it down. Take it off. Phrasal verbs are always inseparable. Example, I come across some old photos in a drawer. Not, I come some old photos across in the drawer. Remember, narrative tenses are common in written stories, especially when they describe actions. So, listen carefully to the following story. Activity 3. Differentiate the underlined words, what type of narrative tense they are. Bond opened the door very slowly, looked carefully around the room, and walked in. The window was open, and the curtains were blowing in the wind. Clearly, someone had left in a hurry. So, take a 3 minutes, differentiate the underlined words, what type of narrative tense they are. You have 3 minutes. Good luck. Welcome back. I hope you got the right answers. So let us see the answers. Past simple: open it, look it, walk it, was. That's a past simple. All they are explaining about the past events. What about the past continuous? We're blowing. We're blowing means it explains or it sends a message of something that was happening in the past time. Past perfect: had left. Had left will be the past perfect. These are called narrative tenses. So our today's lesson is all about that. Until we meet next time, see you again.